My name is Wen Ree, and the guy behind the camera is Dalton, who is my teammate. And today we'll be presenting our product, the Neural Paradox Gauge. In summary, our product is a game made for the elderly to improve their memory and reaction times. This is done through 4 games that we have programmed through SenseHead and Python onto this device. As you can see, our device is shaped like an arcade machine, invoking a sense of nostalgia and fun for our target audience, which is the elderly. It uses a Raspberry Pi 3, a cricket hat, LED display, an external joystick, capacitive touchpads connected with wires to 4 buttons, a buzzer, a servo motor, and a battery holder. The instructions for the games are found online and also found at the bottom of the device. Now we'll be going into game 1, which is also called the character memory game. So when I click on the first button, the screen will be blue and a random character will be shown, and you will need to click on any of these first 2 buttons. The first button means that you have seen the character before, while the second button means you haven't. Since this is the first character, it is one you haven't seen yet, therefore you will need to press the second button. Since you were right, the screen will be green, and if you were wrong, you would lose a life and the screen will be red. The game will continue until you have lost all 3 lives and your final score will be shown. Like that. Going into game 2, which is the visual memory game, we have to click the second button and the screen will be orange. It will print a 3x3 map with 3 white blocks and the rest are blue blocks. You will need to remember the placements of the white blocks, and within 3 seconds, the screen will be cleared to only blue blocks and a yellow block. The yellow block is basically the placement of your cursor. You can use the joystick to move the cursor and click on it to confirm the location of the white blocks previously. So for example, if I click on the wrong spot, which was previously blue and not white, it will display red. But if I click on the location which was previously white, it will turn green. To go to the next level, I will need to click on all the previously white spots, like so. And it will display green to show me that I was correct. If I was wrong, I would I would use all 3 of my attempts on that round and lose a life, and the level will reset. So this game will continue until you either clear level 20, which is an 8x8 map with 22 white blocks, or lose all 3 lives. Your final level will then be displayed as your score. In this case, level 2. Game 3 is a reaction time game. It will print a yellow screen when the third button is pressed. Once the game is selected, the screen will turn green and the servo is set to 0. Then the player is prompted to press any of the buttons to start the game, so any of these 4 buttons. The screen will turn red and then the player will wait a random number of seconds until it turns green. Once the screen turns green, the motor rotates 20 degrees, creating a cricket sound, and the timer will start. The player will have to press any of the buttons as soon as possible for the timer to stop, and the screen will once again turn red, and so on. The player will have 5 attempts to react. Once they have done so, the total time spent across the 5 attempts of them reacting will be divided by 5, and the average reaction time will be shown on the screen in milliseconds, like that. Game 4 is a sound memory game. It will print a purple screen when the 4th button is pressed. Once the game is selected, the player will start with 2 lives and a random pitch fraction from a list with 1000 Hz will be displayed. Then the player will have to choose between pressing the first and second button, which means same and different respectively. If the sound you hear are not the same, you will need to press the second button, which means different. So let's start. Since the sounds you have just heard are the same, you will need to press the first button. And as you can see, it was correct. And since a new sound has appeared and it was different from the previous sound, you will need to press different for it to be correct. So you will now continue the game until you will have lost all 2 of your lives. So let me quickly end the game first. So once the game is over, again, your final score will be shown. 3. So when you are done playing the game, you can just click on the joystick to off the device. It will display a red to show that you have off the device.